Hey there. I'm Dama, and probably clicking on this video thinking, oh boy, Bigfat gone? Yeah. So to get into context with that, and it's been a while since the last Bigfat has come around, but it's just me and one other friend, Krusty, and that's it. Uh, Bigfat has been ramping up for a while. Bigfat has it's gone through evolutions, and we've been working on 2.1 for a while. But there's something we realized is that Bigfat is just too ambitious for something of just me and one other person to do. We can't do Bigfat that way anymore. The animation, the time, the detail, the everything. I mean, 2.1 is, I think if I remember correctly, it was supposed to be around 15 minutes long, and it was pretty much all animated. And that, I mean, that's yeah. Even comparing that to what we were going to do afterwards is like nothing. We had I think we were a little too overambitious. Bigfat has become, some people like it in our weird group. Probably the only people that would be listening to this video, but I'm afraid to say that we can't really do that anymore. Conflict of interests, times change, and all that. I enjoy Bigfat. I love it. It's such a weird thing. It's just such a weird, like, joke of a series that has been kind of turning into a more serious thing, but like still keeping like the ridiculous humor, the nonsense. It's just a fucking trip, and that's just the point. But with 2.1, we realized that we are overly ambitious. 2.0 was a big stepping stone for us. We did something that we've never done before. Work on a project. We're pretty young, and not that experienced at all. We've never worked on projects or anything like this before. It was fun though. And Bigfat 2.0, even though it's not like great in hindsight, it was flawed, but it was fun to make, and it was something that we were able to make. It was a feasible project. It was simple enough, but 2.1 is too much. It's over double the length. It has way more characters, way more voice lines, way more scenes, way more like just everything. It is very difficult, and I will be honest, we actually have quite a lot of it finished. Excuse me. We got a lot of it finished. It's just, well, after a while, we realized, holy shit, this is a lot. Like, we have 1/3, I would say, of 2.1 done. We have custom music for a lot of scenes. We have, a bunch of amazing art done by Krusty. Basically a bunch of voice lines that were done by some great people, very talented as well, especially the villain in particular, I think. Very, very good stuff. We had a lot of people that wanted to contribute, and I think I'm proud to have had something that people actually wanted to look at and at least respect, be a part of, enjoy. And that's good. But we can't do it anymore. Now you're thinking, well, why don't you just get other people? Well, we have a couple problems here. One, a lot of people aren't as dedicated to making the art we need. They're not as dedicated as Krusty is in making art. And number two, they don't have the vision and the style of Bigfat. Bigfat's stupid. It's like a very particular, weird, jumbled mess of shit. And if you're not really in the know, you don't really know like what to expect. And then we also don't have any money. We don't have a lot of money to pay, well, mostly anybody. A lot of this was free, like, volunteering, you know? A lot of people, you know, volunteered their time in whatever way they could via making music or, the voice acting, everything like that. That was all voluntary. We haven't paid anybody. The only person that I've paid is Krusty for all the amazing art he's done. He's gotten plenty of money. However, even then though, I couldn't keep up the amount of cash, you know, and stuff like that for everybody. It's a bit of a shame. Not that, like, everybody's been motivated by money or anything. No, that's just... The main thing is, I can't hire new help. I can't do that. And at the rate we're going, Bigfat 2.1 wouldn't be out for a very disgusting amount of time. And in the grand scheme of things, we kind of realized that, like, 2.1 is not even supposed to be... It's supposed to be, you know, a good episode. But... we have so much more that we have planned. Concept arts that Krusty came up with, ideas that I wrote down, scripts that I wrote down, all kinds of things that I wrote out, characters, you know, crazy situations. I mean, you're kind of seeing it being flashed on the screen. These are things that were going to happen. We had a lot planned, and we realized that is just too much. We can't animate all of it. All of it? I mean, this is something that, like, a group of people would have to do, not just a couple of random people, you know? So, what I decided and what we decided is, Bigfat as you know it is not going to be happening anymore. Bigfat as you see it is not going to be happening. Now, there's a couple of things I will say, even though that might be a bummer to some people. And it's a bummer to me, but there is some hope. One is 2.1 might happen still. Don't get your hopes up. But we might finish it. But anything after that, I genuinely don't. I hope you understand. There's probably not going to be anything after that. Animation-wise, but we will probably try to finish 2.1 eventually. The Patreon, anybody that's been following us, I'd like to shout out Vapor, Desi especially, and Chris if he's still around. But you know, you guys, even though we only had 3 patrons, it's just crazy to think that you guys even went there, you know? And I'm pretty happy about that. When 2.1 comes out, we're not gonna charge the Patreon. The Patreon is basically going to remain stagnant for now, for probably forever. Or if we do somehow miraculously return. But we're not gonna charge anybody any more money. We're not going to do that. Even when 2.1 comes out, it would be unfair to charge for something that people pledge to that would be thinking the series would continue. But no, we wouldn't want to do that. But yeah, no, 2.1 might still happen. It might still happen. So just keep your eyes out. It could happen. Don't get your hopes up too much, though. And anything after that, especially not. Animation-wise, that is. So now I lead into this. We were thinking, instead of animated stuff, we were thinking about creating our own webcomic. It would have, like, animated stills and stuff, but it would be a comic. It would be something you read. We realized that would be a lot easier to do, because we wouldn't have to animate so much, and go through a bunch of stuff like that. So, yeah, we're thinking about, if Bigfat were to return, we would probably have it would probably be a comic series, not an animated series, because that would be a lot easier for us. We realize that our vision is way too big for full animation all the time, full voice acting all the time, all that stuff. For only a couple people, we can't do it. At least not in a timely manner. I mean, it had to be like 50 years down the fucking line until we're even done. Like, there is a lot to cover. So, we're thinking about doing that. I'm not sure how I'm gonna, like, present the comic. If anybody had any ideas, they can tell me, but honestly, if I'm gonna present it, I think I'm probably going to, I think I'd make, like, a little website for it, I guess, would be the best idea. We'll see how it goes, but yeah, it could happen. And if anybody wanted it to happen, they can always, you're in the Discord. And, oh yeah, the Patreon Discord is also going to become public. It's going to be, like, our hangout. My, like, big hangout Discord. But yeah. I know it's a bit of a shame. And, well, there's also Blood Bunny I talked about. That was supposed to be, like, a mini-series that we were going to do. Again, it was just way too ambitious. So I'm afraid we're going to have to step away from that as well. So what is my channel going to be? My channel, the Dama channel, exactly. If there's no more Bigfat, then what is it going to be? Well, I mean, I've done different content before. Game playthroughs, shitty, like, edited memes, videos about my giant rats, stuff like that. I mean, you could probably see that continuing. That's probably gonna keep happening whenever I feel like it. And, I think that's about it. Again, I'm sorry about all this. It's a shame. But we were just too ambitious. There could be something in the future. In terms of, like, animation, though, I don't really think so. There might be small animated things. I don't know. Me and Krusty are still on good terms and everything. It's not like nobody's had a falling out. There's no drama or anything like that. We just realized what we were doing was way too crazy. It was way too crazy to keep up. So we kind of realized, okay, we need to stop because this is too ambitious for what we are. We're not a big studio. We're not super talented. So, yeah. Well, personal creative endeavors, I guess I'll leave off with. Krusty's got, like, a whole thing going on, sketches, and he's creating his own sort of, like, thing. I'm not really sure what to call it yet. It's like a world and a story. I don't know. And then I'm writing a novel. It's a fictional thing. I might show people in the Discord. I might show you guys it. See what you think of it. Whenever I feel as though it's ready to be viewed from an early audience. But yeah, it's gonna be a while until you hear from us consistently. So yeah, sorry, but I hope everybody has a good day and that they understand. If anybody has any questions, you can ask me in Discord or you can just post them in YouTube and I will respond to them. So yeah, see ya.